the Nonprofit Podcast, powered by Donorbox.
As we gear up for giving season, are you feeling like you're missing opportunities for donor engagement? Are you stressing that it's leading to missed donations or not tapping into your donors' giving potential? Welcome back to the Nonprofit Podcast. I'm Cara, fundraising coach at Donorbox.
And I'm Jena, nonprofit advocate at Donorbox.
We are here each week with practical actions you can use today to increase donations and take your nonprofit to the next level tomorrow. And this season, we're walking right alongside you week after week this giving season, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed and not sure where to start with your year-end fundraising.
That's right, Cara. We know the struggle that comes with a very busy year end for so many of our nonprofits, and we've got your back. This season, we're going to break down your must-dos into manageable steps so you can tackle your year-end fundraising with confidence. We have podcasts and webinars and all kinds of downloadables and templates to equip you with all that you need this season.
And today we're going to, start at the beginning. We have a 10,000-foot view of your year-end fundraising campaign, and we'll walk through how to keep your donors engaged through it all so they don't check out before remembering you with their support this year. And it all starts with understanding your donors and creating an ongoing conversation with them. Your year-end ask doesn't have to feel like a surprise attack. So picture this maybe as a journey with your supporters, and I guess that makes us your Sherpas, right, Jena? So we're here to make sure that you're well prepared.
And this journey all begins with knowing your donors and your supporters and putting in a little prep work that sometimes tends to fall off of your radar. Now is a great time to do this, y'all. So we're going to look at your processes. You're going to ask, are you all ready to handle receiving contributions through mail and online? And what about sending receipts and acknowledging your supporters? And now's a good time to get those all worked out. You don't want to be frantic towards the end of the season. So this is when you use screening tools, lists, and your database to find your potential year-end donors. And don't forget to tidy up that database. It's like cleaning out your closet before winter. I just did this. So you could spend some time getting those mailing lists sorted and look at who you might want to ask for support this year. It might not be fun, but it's a necessary step.
Absolutely, it is. And I'd also encourage you to remember to spend some time looking at last year's results to help you set your year-end fundraising goals that are realistic, but still exciting. And that important prep work, you went through several steps there. I know there's probably even more. All that stuff is often overlooked, but really organizations that do that have more success when they do a lot of heavy lifting and some work on the front end.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more. Taking that time is definitely a biggie. It's like, so we're talking about a journey, right? It's like using a map to plan your journey. You need to know where you've been so that you can chart the right course forward.
You know, a lot of people think fundraising is really just asking people for donations. And although you have to ask it, it really is important. It really shouldn't be all you do this season.
I agree. If you only ask for donations and you don't spend time nurturing your supporters a little bit or a lot of it, it really makes you look kind of bad and it can really hurt fundraising in the long run.
Yeah, a well-rounded approach to fundraising looks a lot like our 5 A's of Awesome Fundraising. And we introduced this concept earlier this year in a podcast, and we've used it with a lot of our students to help explain the cycle of fundraising. And I really, truly think that the cycle of fundraising is probably the most essential fundraising fundamental to know and to put into practice. And top nonprofits are doing these. Savvy development teams keep this cycle going. And small and medium-sized organizations can use it just as easily. And so these are the 5 A's of Awesome Fundraising. And I'll walk through the cycle. So first, you attract new supporters to your organization. Attract is our first A. And then you ask them to come alongside you by giving. Then you promptly acknowledge gifts of any size. And then you account for the donations that have been entrusted to you. And then you do it again and again. So it's attract, ask, acknowledge, account, and again. So those are the 5 A's. And if you want to develop a fundraising culture throughout your organization, this is a really great way to start. When you master those 5 A's, you'll be able to build a strong and lasting relationship with all your donors. And that leads to increasing your donor retention rates and just greater overall success in your fundraising efforts.
I think that the 5As are a major game changer for organizations, and anybody who implements this into their practices really see great results. So your goal here is to create that sense of belonging and make your supporters feel like they are a part of your organization, like a part of your team, not just supporting it from the outside. This is what will keep your donors coming back again and again and again and again.
Yep. Using the 5As throughout your year-end fundraising campaign helps build relationships with your supporters and keeps them engaged throughout the whole year too, which is really great.
And that means too that they'll be more likely to contribute when you ask them again next year. So referring back to the 5As helps you be strategic. It helps you pace out your fundraising campaign. And it really makes you look like you have a well thought out approach, or rather makes you have a well thought out approach, and that you're not only just simply making a frantic last minute ask.
Yeah, it allows you to really engage donors effectively and strategically, for sure. Jena and I put some thought in how we could specifically apply the 5As of Awesome Fundraising to a year-end campaign that's doable for nonprofit leaders, founders, and fundraisers of any organization. So let's start with the attract stage. And attracting donors to your mission is so important. And for your previous supporters, you'll want to make sure that your organization remains attractive and an option for their support again this year. And so continually connect your supporters to your mission. This is so essential. Even if you're running on fumes, really help them see the impact that your nonprofit is making and their role in it. I know a lot of times we say that donors don't give to your organization, they give through your organization. So you should really showcase the work that's being done because donors supported you.
It is all about active listening here too. So you have to think about what inspires your donors, what do they need? And the more you know, the easier it is to tailor your communications and appeals to those desires, to those needs. So talk to them, listen to them, and then approach your fundraising from their perspective. Every time you write a post or an appeal or an email, you want to keep your donors in mind. So be sure to consider your writing. Are you designing your communications to inspire donors, or is what you write mostly based on your own perspective and preferences? Again, looking at it and staying attractive.
That is a really good point, Jena. Sometimes we look at it through our own lens instead of turning it and looking at it through the supporter's lens. That's a really great point. So I brought to the table here some low energy, but really effective ideas for ensuring that you are attractive to your donor community. And that includes surveys, like you mentioned, thank you, phone-a-thons, calling campaigns, newsletters, virtual meet and greets. Take it one step at a time. Those don't take a lot of energy, but they often have a high return. And now is really a great time to make some personal outreach to your major donors or local business partners. Think about how you can do a great job showcasing their generosity, and consider maybe can they partner with you to inspire your community with a matching gift this year end. Start brainstorming lists of potential matching donors. Engage their interest in adding something special to encourage donations this year end.
And Cara, when you have feedback from your community, you can finalize your year-end appeals. If you're working with a vendor, reach out to them now to establish a timeline. If you're mailing letters yourself, aim to send them out by mid-November. So do some work now so you don't have to rush it when it comes down to the wire. All right, now let's tackle the ask stage.
You got it. After you've nurtured those donor relationships, it's time to invite them to join your mission as supporters. And you don't have to do it all at once. So again, consider your supporters. You'll want to pace out your asks so that you can warm up the relationship a bit too.
And do not forget, you can start the year-end giving season with a bang. You might want to consider using the momentum from, say, Giving Tuesday as a kickoff to your year-end fundraising campaign. And of course, here I am coming in with crowdfunding. I love suggesting crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is an excellent option to get your community involved and encourage your donors and volunteers to be true champions for your nonprofit, especially for these types of one-off campaigns like Giving Tuesday or year-end with a set deadline, right? And when everyone comes together, it can make a really big difference in reaching your year-end goals. And then it is time to run into December. Phew.
And when those year-end appeal letters start landing in mailboxes and in inboxes, probably early to mid-December, right? You'll want to continue that momentum. You're going to continue the conversation through multiple communication channels like email and social media, maybe short video messages to remind your donors to give. Remember, those last few days of the year are so very important. We know most giving happens during the last 48 hours, so we really can't give up momentum. And you'll need to remind your donors of the great giving opportunities, plus the difference that their gift will make in this world. You'll want to show them how their dollars will deliver programs and services that are life-changing and impactful.
And this is when campaign goal meters and countdown reminders are really very helpful and convey urgency and progress toward a goal. This is really impactful. Donors love to see this. So keep going until the clock strikes midnight on December 31st.
Absolutely. And that run through December can seem so exhausting. So I'll offer a little pro tip here. It could be exhausting for your donors too. So be sure to remove donors from your appeals once they give. It's annoying to receive an ask or solicitation or a fundraising appeal after you've given that season. Instead, pull them from your asking list and move them into some acknowledgments. You can still keep them updated on your progress to your fundraising goal. Just tailor your communication toward their generosity instead.
It's a really good tip. Cara, I think I'm tired just thinking about the run through December.
I know. But I think all that promotion and all those reminders will feel more overwhelming to you or to, the nonprofit than anyone else. You're seeing all these messages. Your supporters may only be catching a couple here and there, and they do need to see the message reinforced multiple times before they take action.
And I'd recommend starting the ask stage in late November and then continuing through December. But remember, it's okay to take it slow. If you have it all planned out and you're using some other of the 5 A's throughout, your supporters won't feel like all you're doing is just shouting at them to give. Okay, Cara, and then what about when December 31st comes and goes? What then?
Well, then as we cross into the new year, we pause and catch our breath, and hopefully you'll be busy on gift entry and measuring your progress toward your fundraising goal. You'll spend time in January issuing your tax receipts, but that could all be very transactional. And so you'll want to share some genuine appreciation and show how the results of your year-end campaign have already gone right to work if you can. And here's a fun fact. Donors who are thanked within 48 hours of their gift are more likely to give again. But if you can't manage that, don't stress. That is a big, lofty goal for sure. Just thank your donors in your own way as quickly as is possible for you.
You can use online messages, assign tasks, or even schedule a thank you call-a-thon if you have the energy. The key here is to let your supporters know that they're supported, right? It's so important. And don't forget to celebrate your achievements too, even if it's just with a cup of tea and some quiet time. Take notes on what went well and what you'd like to improve for next year. You're always learning and growing, and that is the beautiful thing. So there you have it, my dear fundraisers. Year-end fundraising may feel like a mountain, but you've got what it takes to climb it, even when you're exhausted. We believe in you. And our goal is to make that climb just a little bit easier for you too. So we've linked our Prep Your Team self-assessment checklist in the show notes for you that'll help you determine how your nonprofit can do better at receiving, and acknowledging donations. So go grab it and get to planning.
Thank you, Jenna. That is a really helpful resource. Thank you so much. And thank you for your time today and for so many helpful things to think about this season.
It was my pleasure as always.
And as we wrap up this week's episode, we want to sincerely thank you for spending a little of your important time this season with the Nonprofit Podcast. I hope you've left with the confidence to take a small step today that will make a big difference tomorrow. Be sure to click the download button on your podcast player, then leave the Nonprofit Podcast a review, or give it a thumbs up if you're listening to the Nonprofit Podcast on YouTube. Your review really is a great way to help others find us. You're here to help others. We're here to help you. So until next time, stay inspired.
That warm feeling when you help someone, it's not just happiness, it's fulfillment. And we believe it should be available to everyone, from frontline heroes to first-time fundraisers. Our tools empower you to help others. This is our mission. This is Donorbox, helping you help others.